Alright, Phillip, I'm just going to show you what first thing I do with a check. I take a source of light, take a straight edge, and carefully put it up against the side of the bevel, and I look for how much light is passing through. This is part of my evaluation. You can kind of see it, so that pass-through isn't bad. And then I look at the other side to see how much light's going through, and that's not bad. So this edge right here is fairly straight. So now I look at the spine and I use a known flat area and I look to see how flat it's laying. Switch hands. And I look at this spine there too. So this tells me that it's sitting pretty good. So you should be getting good contact with this one. I notice that the heel is higher here and it dips in, so there's a frown a little bit. So I'll spend a little bit of attention here and on the toe a little bit, but the bevel looks consistent except for the heel and the toe, so I'll work those in, but I don't see too bad of foam wear on your spine at all. So these shoulders right here, how it will do, it'll pop that up, so you want to make sure when you're honing, you want to make sure you're avoiding those, and you'll feel it bump up on the stone when you set it on there. So if you have the stone like this, you would put it at an angle so this sits on the outside, because you can feel that bump against that if you move it too close. You see how, I don't know if you can hear that, but it bumps it up right there. If you hit it, you see how it knocks. You hear that? So you got to be aware of that shoulder. So I'm going to set this up and I'll do a quick demonstration for you of what I do. Alright, so start out, it doesn't matter which side, but generally when I first start the honing process, I'll put my finger on the stabilizer a little bit, and then I will start, see how you see this water building up a little bit more than here, so we have more material on the heel. So I'm going to put a little bit, again, see where it's touching here and not all the way over here. So I will start, I'm not bearing down on it, I'm just letting the force of my thumb hold it there. And then I'll go back to this side, and you watch the water, because I have a little bit of slurry on there. You watch the water and see how it's pushing. See how it's evenly pushing on this side? So you have a little bit more material on this side. You see? And that now it's moving a little bit better. But sometimes it just takes a little bit of work to get that specific area. And I'm focusing my attention here. It's still touching over here, but not that much, because what I'm trying to do is get that heel kind of a little bit more consistent with the center of the blade right there, because it's a little high and I can see a little bit of wear. So I'm just focusing on that area right now. And then once I feel like I have an engagement, you see how the residue or the slurry kind of is even across that? It's telling me that I am getting a consistent contact with the stone. And then I'll move on to the toe. And then what I'll do is often I'll point the toe forward to get the majority of the contact with that. And this way I am getting out to the far part of the toe and I'm lifting my heel up a little bit, not super high, but just enough to focus. You see how the water wants to run up over that toe right there? So I am focusing the attention on that area, so that, and I'm doing a slow tilt. So this is called blending. So I'm blending that high spot into the regular spot. So I am getting that in there. And I'm not pushing down on the spine, I'm just holding it to the stone. It's like a balance point. That's basically all I'm doing. I'm making a balance point and using that as not an anchor, but a place that I have even contact. So if you look at it now, it's gone over a little bit, so now I'm blending that toe into this area right here. And then I will, if you watch the water, I'll blend that specific spot into the center. So right now what I'm doing is I'm evening up the wear, so there's more toe and heel right now than there is in the center. So right now that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to pause and then do some more laps. Alright, so while I was honing, your scales crumbled. Alright, so while I was honing, I was holding it like this and did my flip, and pieces started falling off. Then I crumbled on this side, and then I noticed there was a huge crack on this. So these pins were too tight, and I don't know if you can see it in the video or not. See if I can get the light just right. But they're pretty bent. So there was a lot of down force that was used, and with these plastic scales, they're very fragile. So I have some horn scales that were kind of already, I got them cut out and set to go. So I guess I'm going to be putting these on there, because I can't really do anything from this stage. So it looks like this honing video is turning into a scaling video too. Alrighty. Alright, so I just wanted to make a note about pressure. If you notice in the beginning, I had my thumb here on the stabilizer, right here, right? And then my finger there on the away from stroke, right? I was doing that. So now I'm in a refining stage. I will move my fingers to the side of the blade, down further. So as I progress, I get further and further away from the razor and letting, see how I'm just like cradling it? I'm moving away, so I'm making sure I still have continuous contact with the edge, but I'm using my rolling strokes to make sure I get the whole thing, and then I change direction to make sure it feels the same in both ways. And then I go back again and I'm doing a cleanup stroke at the same time. But you notice I'm using the corner here to start with, but my fingers are on the outside over here. So, and this hand is just support. So it's basically letting the stone and the razor's weight do all the work. And this is how you refine up, no matter what stone you're using, with your finer progression, if you're using synthetics, natural stones. So I will get this thing ran a little bit more and then do a test, and I'll be right back. So packing peanut test. The heel, I noticed when I did it a little bit ago, was a little bit, didn't want to go in so much, but now it's doing it. So you hear that little so it's going in easy, but I can refine it more, so I'll progress more.